Okay, drum rolls. How do you count them? How do they fit in music? Well, really, if you keep to the 16th note counting and you figure out how to fill in there, you'll be totally fine. There is other ways to do it, of course. You could divide the beat into 3s and 6s. But we're going to focus on the more common way, and that is to count them as 32nd notes, which would be 32nd notes, 16th note counting filling in, or multiple bounds with that same counting. Let's take a look at a couple of different exercises here. Simple one would be playing all on one hand and then filling in. Make sure you do it on both sides. So let me explain. Let me demonstrate. 1 E and 2 E and 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 2 E and 1. Okay. I'm playing 16th notes and then I'm switching to 32nd notes. Now it's slow, fair enough, but that doesn't really matter. They're still, based on my counting, 32nd notes. When you start jacking the tempo up, single stroke roll. Let's do that with double. Same counting, except now you're going to have a double stroke. 1 E and 2 E and 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 what you're trying to do now is just get that idea of how the counting works with the singles and the doubles. Now you can make that exercise longer if you want. As you're practicing through the other rudiments, 5-stroke rolls and things like that, you're going to have to, manipulate it a little bit, but it's still the same counting. I like to do the same thing, the same counting for multiple bounce strokes. Multiple bounce, I change it from one to the other depending on the tempo. So if the tempo is slow, 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and I'm playing it kind of like a single stroke roll, but I'm just letting the sticks bounce. 1 E and 2 E and 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 Now if the tempo is higher, it's going to be 1 E and 2 E and 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 I'm going to start playing it more like double strokes. I don't know if you noticed at the beginning, but I went 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and okay. On the practice pad, it's hard to hear. It's hard to get that sustained sound for the drum roll, but what you're really going after right now, this isn't necessarily working on that. You're really working on trying to get the counting of the roll. The function of the roll is to give it a long sound. So this isn't really what you're going after. You want to have one constant sound there, all right? And that's why on a buzz roll or a multiple bounce or a crush roll, 3 names for the same thing, you're really looking to get a nice even sound and get that counting together. And it kind of depends on the speed that you're going at. It's hard to do on a practice pad because there's no resonating chamber that will fill in the extra sound. All right, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 3 E and 4 E and all I'm doing is doing the same counting, the same sticking. It's just the first half of the measure, 1 E and 2 E and I'm just giving a single note, and the second half, 3 E and 4 E and I'm letting the sticks bounce. A little review: 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and for singles, same thing for doubles: 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and multiple bounce: 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and Other ways to count the multiple bounce, you can divide it into 3s and 6s like I mentioned earlier, which is great. It's a whole nother ball game, whole nother ball of wax, but you just want to focus on making sure that you can count and play and get through the piece and know where you are. All right, so good luck.